The heroes of Adventure is Nigh are courageous, mighty, and cuddly? Well, now they can be. Mortimer, Dabarella, Grinderbin, and Sigmar Iceblood are available in plushie form, each with their own adventuring accessory. Display them, hug them, or have them perform in your very own Adventure is Nigh fan fiction. We don't need to talk to every NPC. Yeah, instead, let's make a quick and decisive plan. Get your Adventure is Nigh plushie now at sharkrobot.com or click on the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can buy all 4 at a reduced cost. I'll try the path the Dungeon Master intended me to. Oh blimey, this time I won't use deception.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Firelink Podcast, episode number 66 for Thursday, May 8th, 2025. Marty Sleevey here, joined by Casey Wosu, Nick Calandra, and producer Eric. And if last week was a sad episode, this week, we're going to say it's a happy episode. We got good gaming news that trickled out throughout the week. We got GTA 6. It got delayed, but that's fine. You know what Miyamoto said, Grand Theft Auto 2026 is a good game, and 2025 is a junk game, as well as a new trailer, so we're going to talk about that. We'll be chatting a little bit about the Mafia news. Not like the Mafia, like the Italian criminals. Well, they are the Italian criminals, but we're talking about video game Mafia, not like I don't know if anything cool happened with Mafia except elected a new pope. Am I right? Hey,
potentially,
no. What?
I mean, yeah, that happens in Italy, but is that connected to the mob? I don't know.
No, I was like referring to like organized religion is just a mob, that kind of thing, you know. Shout out to Chicago.
Got ourselves
a Pope. Good job, Chicago. I'm proud of you.
Shot City Pope. Let's do it.
Yeah, there you go. And we're going to talk about Clair Obscur's success. You know what? I'm going to go out and say it. Clair Obscur, it's a good video game.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Kids are into it.
You know, you said this episode was going to be positive, but I just remembered 66 is a certain order that does not end positively for a lot of people. Yeah,
but if we're going to be honest, the kids had it coming. those little kids in the Jedi Temple, they had it coming. They knew what they were doing.
That entire graduating class, we're going to be Sith. Anakin knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Shout out to Plu Kloon and Kit Fisto, some of the heroes we lost in Order 66. Rest in peace, my sweet ones. How are you guys doing? Nick, you've been traveling. You've been gallivanting.
Yep, I traveled to Canada. I was there for a day, and then I traveled back, and I didn't get deported.
Canada visit?
Yep, 1 day Canada visit.
Didn't get deported from Canada, like back to America?
From
I say every time I fly back home, I say I got deported from somewhere.
From the American border, I didn't get deported anywhere.
I'm proud of you.
They did look at me kind of weird though.
You're weird looking dude.
Also, there is like nobody traveling to the U.S. Like, holy shit.
I heard that news. Yeah,
I've been to those border customs a lot, and there's usually a pretty long ass line. There was nobody. There was like 5 people. I've never seen that. Anytime I've gone
Americans.
to Canada,
smuggling maple syrup across the border.
Yeah. Get that sticky icky here. Yeah. How are you doing, Casey?
Not bad. Just there's a lot of stuff on the plate, but otherwise good. I'm in a Clair Obscur hole.
Good. What a hole to be in.
I listened to that soundtrack the entire day today while I was trying to write, and then I got distracted by the music.
It's an incredibly good soundtrack.
Yeah, a lot of the songs in there have lyrics, so like that does make it harder to write when someone just starts.
Oh no, I have no idea what they're saying. It's just such a beautiful soundtrack that I got distracted every time and like into a meditative, like peaceful trance.
Yeah, it's the deeper I get into that game and the more I learn about it, the more impressive it is. I saw, I guess we could just get into our first story, which is that they've announced that it's sold, it's past 2 million copies sold. So that's not even including Game Pass. So that
Amazing.
game is a certified hit in my mind. Also, more details coming out, including there's some confusion. Part of it is on, I would say, the devs as well as Kepler of like, who is this team who made this game? Because like at first it was like, oh, it's just this ragtag group of ex-UB people who made it. But the Gene Park had a story that went up in the Washington Post earlier today about how it's actually just 3 senior people from Ubisoft who are here, and then almost the vast majority of the staff is just junior staff, like working on projects for the first time. Folks that like they found the creative director found the writer on like Reddit.
She was a former venture capitalist. Who like wanted to initially auditioned for voice acting lines, and then it was like, well, this isn't really where we're going with this, but the way you're talking about story is really interesting, and connected through that. And then the same thing, the composer found on SoundCloud. Like, this was all during COVID, obviously. Like, what a cool way for a thing to come together, and for a thing to come together so well.
Should we be worried that this was just dumb luck?
Hey, second win. Second win was basically formed that way. To be fair, found Jay Mate on a random Reddit post. I found Jack just threw a random. I mean, Jack just randomly pitched.
Jack at a bus stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's I don't know. It's cool. I don't know if there's lessons to take from there. Like, I don't know if this is like replicable. But I do. I don't know. I just do think the more I learn about this game, the more exciting it is. Like, it's just a really cool thing, and I'm so happy with its critical and commercial success. And I know Casey and I have both been playing a shit ton. We're both like pretty deep into Act 2, trying to finish the game, because it is one of those stories where I don't want it spoiled for me. Like, it's one of those rare stories where I'm like, I do want to finish it.
Yeah, I'm midway. I think I'm midway through Act 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm working on an unpack script kind of about this right now, and doing a lot of extra research into it and all that, and like just a really talented group of people that came together to make this thing. And yeah, like there's a lot of weird reporting around. Like I don't know if it was just Kepler, but like people are kind of like getting into the mythology of the studio, and kind of a lot of different information is going around. But yeah, you're right about it being just 3 Ubisoft veterans that kind of got it started. And then this game has a budget of somewhere between 10 and 50 million as a AA kind of level budget from Kepler.
That's a very broad range, 10 to 50.
Well, I mean that's where AA lies. Anything above that is usually considered AAA.
Yeah.
And then of course they had lots of outsourcing help on that too. I'm trying to narrow down the number, but hundreds of people that outsourced helped with this. So
sure, yeah, because it's also team. Like the project became big enough at a point to be able to draw in A-level talent like Charlie Cox and Andy Serkis and Ben Starr and whatnot. This feels like this is Ben Starr's first big game following Final Fantasy 16. Like, he's been in stuff kind of, but this just feels like his first like real major planting flag in the that's a whole thing in the game, planting your flag in the sand. Did I do that on purpose? I didn't.
Speakeasy says that's friends too. They probably got some art subsidies to fund the game, even if Macron knew about them. No, that they're published by Kepler Interactive. I've talked about Kepler quite a few times on here as the publisher of Sifu and Scorn and Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. They're publishing Rematch, which was also from Sifu, Tachia, a bunch of other games.
Did you see there's another game that's just Rematch that was announced like a week ago?
Yeah, I saw that. It was like shadow dropped, and it's literally that game.
It looks exactly like Rematch. It is like the same in Rematch. Oh, fucking, I can't.
I have an email for it.
Game like Rematch. I should know
Football
that.
Heroes League.
Football Heroes League. It was shown off last weekend at there was like a Gamescom Latin America down in Brazil, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I saw it was like their one last thing at the end, and I was like, "Isn't this just Rematch?" And at the end, another name came up, and I was like, "You can't just be another game. How is this possible?" Like,
I mean, it's reviews just
soccer, but it just looks. No, I imagine. I mean, I definitely trust the Sifu team.
There's tigers in this one though.
There are tigers in this one. Yeah, this is gearing towards the furry crowd. But yeah, it's just a really cool story. And over in the Patreon, it's $5 tier and above. Remember, at that tier, you're able to send in your questions and comments on each episode of Firelink. Jason Farrow says, I'm about 10 hours into Expedition 33 and I adore it. The guest roles are so fun. What awards do you see this game being nominated for and potentially winning? I cast my vote for best music. Feels like it's gonna be nominated for almost everything.
Yeah, best music, best direction, game of the year.
Yeah,
best narrative.
Yeah,
best RPG.
Best RPG. Yeah.
It'd be up for a lot of shit.
Feels like it has. My gut says it has RPG on lock. I don't want to say it has anything as game of the year on lock yet because we just don't know what's going on in the back half of the year. And let me tell you, those Death Stranding 2 previews were coming out today. Oh my God, he's done it again! I can't believe he done it again. He put in active time lore.
I don't know if it'll have
that game's got so much gobbledygook, and at any point you could pull up a glossary and he'll tell you what the gobbledygook means. I'm like, Kojima.
Is that going to help or is that going to make it worse?
It's going to make it worse.
It's going to understand anything.
It's going to be like reading an encyclopedia in another language.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I don't know if it has RPG on lock. Right now, I would still give that to Kingdom Come too. But everything else,
it is an RPG.
Yeah, I don't think that's getting an RPG nod. Like that would probably be
Expedition?
more like action. No. Kingdom Come. That would probably be more like
Kingdom Come is a full RPG.
I know it's a full RPG, but that's not what usually tops the Game of the Year RPG list.
RPGs don't top Game of the Year for RPG lists.
It doesn't feel like an RPG.
You
didn't even play it. It's an RPG.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it doesn't feel. It doesn't pass my RPG spell test.
They know what I mean.
I need to make sure I'm on that panel this year. Jeff,
I feel like people are talking about. Are people still talking about Kingdom Come? I guess they sold a shit ton, right? It sold what?
4 million copies.
I mean, but that's the curse of releasing so early in the year is that it will kind of just fade in the background until those talks come back around.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost wonder if what's it called? Kingdom Come's too sweaty, and Clair Obscur. Although Clair Obscur seems kind of sweaty too. People are getting filtered out by the parrying.
But they like it when their friends sweat.
They like it when their friends sweat. I don't understand that, but I like it.
Maybe there's a rule this year. Like, what was it for the not the Oscars, or is it the Oscars that they have to watch every movie?
How is that not a rule beforehand?
How is that? What
are we doing?
It sure makes a lot of the suspect awards about popularity, huh?
Yeah. Hollywood is a very stupid place. And then going over some super chats before we move on to the next topic. Jewel Rao, thank you so much. Been in the tip jar for a year. Thanks, Jewel. And then with a €5 dono said, also Gex comes back in June. Reminds me of the 9th of July at Second Windstream. It reminds me of the 9th of July at Second Windstream. What does that mean?
Oh,
no idea.
I was confused. Is that a Gex line that I missed? However, I did read about Gex. Gex has a normal edition. It has a collector's edition that comes with like a soundtrack and a poster. And then it has like a $200 edition that comes with a statue and a 3-foot tall blow up doll of Gex. And I'm going to tell you, I want this blow up doll of Gex. So
is the statue also of Gex?
Yeah, the statue, it's a Gex statue, but then a much larger blow up Gex.
Is there anyone on Earth who gives a shit about Gex to this degree?
I think.
No, I mean like actually, because I know you love it ironically.
Well, yeah. I also just I'm very excited for people to play this game and be like, oh, these jokes have not aged gracefully. These jokes are extremely forward. Chomley asks, what's the doll for? It's for sex, Chomley. What do you think it's for? What else is it for?
Yeah, what else is a blow up doll for?
What's he got a big old lizard in your house for?
Before we move on to that topic, I think one of the interesting things lately has been, we've been talking a lot about price points for games. $80 for Mario Kart, and $80 for potential Xbox games. I'm sure Fable is going to be an $80 game. But Clair Obscur, $50. Kingdom Come, $60. Mafia, The Old Country, as we meld into that topic, also $50.
Yeah, that's a pretty good little segue. First off, you can't say Kingdom Come doesn't get any flowers for being $60. $60 is normal. Like,
no, $70 is normal.
No, $60 is normal.
No, $70
70 is normal now.
No. 70 is a push. 80 is insane.
Yeah, 70 was
I
the
think-
push. Like if everything after a certain point was hitting 70, then we could say it's normal. But people are still trying to push for 70, and then Nintendo just went like, you know what, 80.
In my mind, yeah,
And
60
then $200 blow up bills.
60 is normal, 70 is premium, 80 is freaky deaky. That's what it. That's the gradients. 50 is like, oh, that's pretty nice, and then 40 is like, ooh, baby.
Seems like every normal AAA game is $70 now. Almost all
That's
of them.
because that's their premium. Kojima wouldn't allow that. That game's absolutely $70. I think it's $100. I don't know what's going on. I think he'd put all of Australia in the game. There's just like all of Australia. Good for Kojima. I hope he's doing well. Our second topic today was, as Nick mentioned, Mafia: The Old Country. It had its release date leak quite a while ago, but now has officially been confirmed August 8th. The game is going to be $50, so a little bit below that regular price. And the 2K president, David Ismailer, said, "We think there's a large audience for compelling stories that don't require massive time commitments," doubling down on the fact that this is a just linear narrative game. This isn't an open world game. This isn't multiplayer or anything, which is funny because, Mafia 2 and 3 were both kind of open world, urban takes on Grand Theft Auto and everything with their own spin. But the trailer they show off from this game, this looks really cool. Like the fact that this takes place, 100 years ago or so, and is in Sicily, and which isn't a place that we usually get games set. I don't know. This trailer really sold me, and everything they were saying about how this is like a short cinematic experience seems really, really cool. Do you guys have any temperature on this game?
Yeah,
I think it's a... No, good.
I've played all the Mafia games. I haven't been able to finish 3 because the open world is so grindy and repetitive, but
Too scary.
Mafia is a more linear experience. It's always been better because I don't think the open world, aside from like flavor detail, I guess, has added anything to them. They usually just drive around to the next mission. There's not like, people try to compare it to GTA a little bit, but there's nothing to really do in those worlds outside of the missions. So I'm glad they're ditching all the bloat. Thank God.
How do you feel about this,
I'm
Casey?
excited for it.
No, I agree. I think it was a good call on their part because, like Nick said, Mafia 3 was kind of like they were chasing the GTA feel. Like I guess they thought that was where they had to go, but didn't really fill the world out with enough stuff to do. So rather than feel like they're trapped in that bucket, they went back. Was all right, well, let's just focus on the story, the gameplay, and just make like a linear story. And that's something that we have been saying repeatedly more bigger publishers should do. Like just scale down some of their scope and just make the thing that they want to make, as opposed to thinking they have to appeal to this 100-hour epic thing that's going to take the world by storm. Like this is a good call. And yeah, you can tell like it kind of looks like they found their footing again by making that choice.
Writing and gameplay was never Hangar 13's problem with Mafia 3. It was just the mission design was so boring, and it doesn't work in a giant open world.
Yeah, it's also like Mafia was. I feel like Mafia was never like a top tier franchise, right? It always felt like a rung or two below. Like not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it just feels like it's kind of punching in its weight class, like in a way that makes sense. And I think this release date, like being one of the, getting out at the end of summer before sort of the big deluge of fall games come, and just sort of focusing. I think people have so many things to play. Like I don't know. I don't see that backlash. I feel like there was a time where there was a backlash of, oh, this game is only 10, 12, 15 hours, and I just don't feel like we get that anymore. I feel like the opposite tends to be true. That's not to say you can't have big old open world million-hour games. Like no one's those aren't going anywhere. But like when people said, the mainline story for Clair Obscur can be completed in 20 hours or whatever, like people were like, that's cool. That's a good length for an RPG campaign. Everything doesn't have to be Persona.
Yeah, I think like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just that, people started to compare everything to The Witcher 3 as this big epic, it's got to be X amount of hours to be good. And I think part of that came from the games press of focusing so much on those key details for news stories that got people talking a lot. Just hours, amount of content in the game, amount of missions, amount of characters, amount of weapons. Like just
How
became
big your
such a
script
numbers
is.
focused
Our
game.
script is
Yeah.
a million pages long.
Yeah, how big the script is. I think like maybe people have really comes down to just so many games being released, but I think people have wisened up to like, hey, just because the game's 60 hours doesn't mean it's a good 60 hours.
Also think over the past 10 years, people have realized that every other medium is competing for their attention. Like we're in an age of there's like a million TV shows and animated series and dramas and comedies and old shows and new shows and movies coming out all the time that are just like constantly vying for our attention. So, it's there will occasionally be these big beefy games that are able to kind of grab hold of me, but I think it's much easier for me to wrap my head around something that's smaller, because baby's got to watch 40 hours of Gundam. Got a lot of Gundam to watch.
Yeah,
Don't have time
much easier proposition to get in and out with whatever your content is, right? Like someone will be like, oh, if I'm interested in that and it's not going to be the biggest commitment in my life, and it's a good price point, then I will dip my toe. Whereas folks will be like, all right, well, for this, I could get that. For this price, for this length, I could just do the other big thing.
Sure. So yeah, you mentioned price, and Far Too Many Frogs over in the Patreon. Thank you so much, Far Too Many Frogs. Said, do you think that we'll see more resistance from second and third party developers and publishers, both in AA and AAA space, to the $70 to $80 price tag, with the likes of stuff like Mafia, Atomfall, Oblivion, and South of Midnight, and Clair Obscur, all games that are that were below $60. If publishers are getting more malleable with pricing, I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. Malleable also means we're going to get those $70 and $80 things, but it does also mean we're going to get these things where, like, 5-10 years ago, all of those games we just mentioned would have been $60. Oblivion Remastered, Atomfall, Mafia, South of Midnight, Clair Obscur, those would have been $60 games. Mm-hmm. So, granted, so would Mario Kart have also been $60. So yeah, I'm happy that we're kind of using the entire spectrum now. And then obviously indies, run the gamut from. We were talking in chat before the show started of this game ENA Barbecue, which is this incredible like psychedelic narrative walking simulator that was released on Steam, that is free, and it's the entire thing, or the entire like first chapter, and then you can like pay almost like a $10 tip afterwards if you liked the game, and it comes with like the soundtrack and art and stuff. But that's kind of like, hey, if you dug it, consider this way. So I like that. These things can run the gamut from being priced like that all the way to the Hachimachi, that's a lot of money. I do think we need to get rid of for $10 more, you can start playing 3 days earlier, because that is predatory against people like me. Yes, I do it.
Because you're going to pay early for Death Stranding, aren't you?
No, I'm going to email my close personal friend Hideo Kojima.
Just learn some self-control. I think.
Oh, what's going on there?
Right.
What are you talking about?
I think the $80 games are going to be the ones that publishers know people will buy no matter what. Call of Duty, I guarantee you, Call of Duty is going to be $80.
Oh, sure, yeah. When Microsoft said some of our games later this year, Call of Duty was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, I don't think I'm surprised. I'm actually kind of shocked EA isn't doing that for their sports games, because I think people would still pay it. But on the other hand, sales dipped on FIFA, so maybe not. Maybe
it'll be the worst time, right?
Yeah. So I think it's mostly going to be $80 games are going to be like those big mass appeal games that everybody has to have. And then I really like the trend right now of like we know it's a much harder sell for people to justify a $20 linear game like Mafia at $60, $70, $80. So let's make it $50. And clearly it's working for a lot of games that's selling at a lower price when they justify the amount of hours of content, if that's the way people want to look at it. So
because EA can also keep it at 60 and then they'll gouge you on the back end with
they do all the Ultimate Team and everything.
Well, did they not raise all the sports stuff to 70 like early on, like when that
they're all 70 now.
So they already did that.
Oh, they are 70. I didn't know.
So they'll probably stick to that.
Yeah, they can.
I would assume.
I think it's
the
80.
The old gen versions are 60. The new gen versions are 70.
If it's 80, and you promise me with a blood oath, there's no microtransactions in there. It's an easier pill to swallow. But there's no way. There's no way they're going to promise that. Nintendo's the only one I trust, and I don't even trust Nintendo.
They're taking a feature out in that case, right? There's no microtransactions, but then so that means you don't get whatever skins or seasons or whatever the hell comes down the pipe. Is just, but you pay more for just the static
you give
version
me for free. You give me for everything. No, I mean, like, yeah, I just don't think. I don't think a game with shit tons of microtransactions is the kind of thing that should be $80, right? Like. Mm-hmm. Ethically,
we kind of talked about Call of Duty a couple of weeks ago, right? Like where I was almost saying like they offer so much content. I'm surprised it's not $80 already. You know, you get the campaign, you get zombies, and you get multiplayer.
I'm also surprised they haven't kind of chopped it up like a la carte yet. But I don't know. I'm sure smarter people than me have had meetings about that. There are smarter people than me. Speaking of smarter people than me having meetings, S6 with $5 thank you so much, said, congrats to Pope Leo the 14th, just in time to be able to play both GTA 6 and Half-Life 3 in the Vatican on the papal PlayStation 5, the Pope Station. Shout out to Chicago Zone. I don't know anything about this guy other than he was tweeting some stuff against Vance and Trump, so that was good, but I'm not gonna get all excited because I'm sure he's got some fucking
I don't know a ton about him either. I did like a quick search as to who he was. Apparently, he spent a ton of time in South America. So he's born in Chicago, but he's actually lived outside of the U.S. for like much longer.
Unlike most people in Chicago.
And I don't know. He seems quite aligned with Pope Francis, who just passed recently. And Pope Francis, to me, was like the coolest pope since poping was a thing. Like, because we all know Pope is not easy.
Poping ain't easy.
Francis redefined the game. I don't know. Leo sounds like he's following his footsteps. I'm pro Leo.
My favorite
pro Pope Leo.
My favorite comment I saw was Leo 14 is actually going to get off to a rough start, but then in a few years we'll rebrand as Leo 14 A Realm Reborn. So that one's good.
Pope is one of those topics that I know very little about, to the point that I didn't know we could have. I didn't know we could have it. Social media would tell you otherwise, but I didn't even know an American could be Pope. So that's news to me today.
You got to watch this film Conclave. It was nominated for all sorts of Oscars. You're going to learn shit.
I haven't been to watch that.
And it's a good movie.
The only movie I've seen with the Pope in it is that scary one with what's his no
Jason.
God damn it!
Saw?
You're adding
was there a Saw movie where Jigsaw got the Pope?
Who plays
Final Destination?
Fuck off.
Chucky.
Yeah,
The Exorcist.
Horror. Chucky was the horror.
Are you talking about
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe.
Exorcism. I was trying to come up with the Russell Crowe name, and you guys kept throwing so many names in my face that I couldn't.
I was trying to help. I also like how Casey got thrown under the bus. I like how Casey got thrown under the bus for throwing all the names.
I said one name, and it was the closest name that was said.
What about? No, I think Chucky was pretty close.
Chucky. Russell Chuck.
Yeah, Russell Chucky. Fatcock, thank you so much for the $2 dono. GTA 6 delayed. Feels sad, y'all. We'll get to that soon. You don't need to feel sad, Fatcock. You got a lot going for you. We'll explain to you in our main topic why the game being delayed is a good thing. Vactor, thank you so much for rejoining the tip jar. Appreciate you, Vactor.
Thank
Brett
you.
Walden, been in the Green Gang for 14 months. Thank you, Brett. And then Peter Parker SL with a $10 dono. Thank you, Peter Parker. Remember, we funded the Double Doke, and we got that on a soft schedule for Saturday, the 24th. Saturday the 24th. That's when our Super Doke will be. And our next goal, as you see this, Nick, he's back into Persona. You know what the best way to play Persona is? 8 hours of time, once a year, under complete duress. So appreciate that dono towards that. Everything people have been saying about GTA 4, I don't know if we're talking about GTA 4, is just getting me more hyped, and it got me thinking, what other franchise would you pay top dollar for if it was made with the same love and care? Okay, I'm assuming you made GTA 6 here. What other franchise?
Like just
I think all of us have our favorites that we would like. I would pay for most Nintendo first party game, for like a core Mario, a core Zelda, a Final Fantasy or Persona.
But are we saying it would be an equal amount of like production put behind it? Because I don't think Nintendo would ever spend that amount of money on even a core Mario game.
I don't think they would know how to. I don't think they would know how to.
We have to put all the freckles on Mario.
Yeah, I genuinely do think Rockstar, and we can get into the main story now, is singular. I do not think they have an analog. I think every other developer and publisher kind of has an analog. Maybe not Nintendo. Nintendo's weird enough to kind of be their own thing. But it feels like everything else has an analog, but Rockstar is singular in what they're able to do, which we saw this week with the waking up one morning with a random press release that says, oh, the game has been delayed to May 26, 2026. Just saying that they are intent on delivering the highest quality product possible. And then a few days later, just one morning, all of a sudden, just an email shows up in journalist inbox. It's the simplest email. It is crazy how simple the email is. It is one sentence, and it says, here's the trailer, and here's a link to all the assets. I'm like, to Jesus, no one was prepped on this. It was just, here it is.
And it broke like the
475
video record
million views.
Yeah, like just there's no video released that has garnered more attention in the amount of time. Like they just broke everything.
Yeah, it's like it's fun to be here because none of us were, like in 2013 we didn't have a podcast doing this. We've been saying for years and years how big of a gap it is between Grand Theft Auto and anything else. And it's going to be fun for the next year to sort of see that in real time with things like this. Like I got texts that morning from my normie friends being like, holy shit, it's out in 2 weeks. And I'm like, you didn't read the 2026 thing, did you? You got to read the year.
I know that must have caught so many people.
Yeah, you got to
saw a date and just completely blanked on the 6 at the end.
And then they were immediately like, why the fuck would they announce it this early? And I'm like, good question. I don't have the answer to that, but yeah. So I guess Casey, right after that, what did you A, think of planting their flag in the sand a year out, and B, what did you think of the trailer?
First I have a question. Have they announced a date that far ahead before?
I want to say yeah. I want to say Red Dead got a date a year out.
Like a full year out that they then hit, or they delayed again?
No, they did not hit. Delayed. I do not think this will be hit either. I think it'll come out in 2026. I think it'll just come out end of summer, early fall.
All right. Fair enough.
They've done May before. GTA 4 came out in the spring, whereas GTA 5 was September and Red Dead was late October. So it would not be unprecedented for the game to come out in May, but yeah, it is pretty wild to get I think the last time we've gotten a date this far out was Starfield. They did not hit it.
Yeah. Yeah, like the fact that it's in a year out and like there is no precedent for them hitting it with that level of accuracy makes me feel like it was just we're just pushing like they may have attempted to release this game this year. Like they were like, oh, if we can get past this milestone, then we'll have a date. And they just didn't. So like, all right, we'll push it out another full year and then give them something while they wait. And that's, the trailer. So that being said, this looks a lot better than I think I would like, to be honest. All the hype around GTA 6 has kind of dulled it for me. Like I feel like there's no way that this game was going to come out and be as good as everyone wants it to be, because everyone was anticipating 5 super heavily because of how good 4 was, and 5 somehow was, it met that mark or was better than what people imagined because of the addition of GTA Online mainly, and that kind of blowing everybody out of the water and become the new kind of it place on the internet for like however long. Well, until this day, honestly. So like that's the thing that I honestly feel is not repeatable. But either way, like this looks fantastic. Like just the attention to detail in the trailer, like the characters that they're choosing to follow, like the kind of Bonnie and Clyde as story that they're setting up. Like that's just a cool thing to get to play around with in a GTA like environment. So it has actually garnered some hype from me, who was kind of down on it after not caring as much with all the hype surrounding it. So like, well done, honestly. Like I can't wait to see more. like maybe it might blow me out of the water along with everybody else.
Hell yeah. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, and the amount of detail in this fucking trailer is the money's on screen. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane, and the fact they say it's running on a base PS5. We haven't even seen it on a Pro yet, or eventually what the PC is gonna look like. Like, my God. I'm with KC. Like, really interested in the romance angle of the story. I think that's a really interesting, like, a lot of people have talked about on social media. Like, we don't get a lot of games about romance stories, so that's fresh and unique for GTA, I think. Just want to see gameplay. That's really all I want to see now. But yeah, I don't know. It's Rockstar. It's like this thing's gonna sell 15-20 million copies, if not more, in its first week.
Sure. Yeah.
This is gonna do insane numbers.
I'm just the things that stood out for me the couple times I watched the trailers were, the attention to detail is second to none. Like, it is absurd. And a lot of people are kind of like, has the world moved past the ability to lampoon America because of how America has changed since 2013 when GTA 5 came out? And that's a good question. And I'm curious to see if Rockstar can answer that. Visually, like, it does seem like their grasp on the glitz and like the wide range of what humanity we get in Florida, from the glitz and glamour to the gator folk. I'm just gonna call them gator folk. I'm not gonna offend anyone. I just want to call them gator folk.
I mean, it's a bold choice to set it in not like Miami, Florida, but like kind of Florida. Yeah. Like, especially if you're running into the issue where like, oh, America is so over the top that it's hard to make it over the top. Like, the most over the top place in America is Florida.
Like, that's the whole thing. Is like,
so they're kind of facing it head on.
Yeah. And it does have that. Like the LA facsimile in GTA 5, it does have that massive disparity between the haves and have-nots. Like, it's as present in Miami-Dade County as it is anywhere in America, the juxtaposition between the rich and the poor. I do completely agree. I love the fact that it seems like, I'm assuming we're going to have dual protagonists, swapping back and forth at our leisure between Lucia and Jason. I'm sure some missions are going to be playing as one, playing as the other, kind of a GTA 5 formula. And then we saw a little glimpse of the star power behind it. Stephen Root is he's kind of the main voice throughout the trailer, and he's the actor who's been in Barry and like Dodgeball and Office Space and everything. He's great. So some people there's been like some scuttlebutt that Troy Baker is playing Jason. I hear a bit of it. I do not think that is Troy Baker. Yeah,
they tend not to do that for their main cast, right? They don't go for like
in
big
Vice City
name people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, Vice City was.
But GTA 5, it was three, relative unknowns. Just Stephen Ogg kind of has become like that guy since then, popping up in a bunch of stuff. Just looks really, really great. And I like how it is. Again, it's also doing the thing where it's like, there's part of it's in Vice City that is the Miami, but then there's everything around it. There's the archipelago, and there's Gator Country. I'm excited to go to Gator Country. Not enough games let us go hog wild in Gator Country. So
I look at this trailer and I'm like, where do graphics go after this? Like, some of the details you've seen I've seen on social media, like, there's bubbles in the fucking beer bottle. Like, what? There's going to be a lot of think pieces about, was this all necessary? And the answer is yes.
For them, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
when you have this kind of money, why not?
Yeah, if you take a look at Red Dead Redemption 2, even now, like it still looks so good.
Incredible, yeah.
Like just like visually, its animation quality, like it still looks so freaking good. So like this is what they are good at. Like let them cook.
Yeah.
GTA 5 has sold 210 million copies.
almost
We had to buy it like 3 times, didn't we?
Sure, yeah. It's going to be the same. This is coming out. It's going to be coming out near-ish the end of a console generation, and then it'll come out on PC, and then it'll come out on the PlayStation 6, the Xbox, whatever they want to call it.
If you put that in perspective, 2/3 of America almost owns GTA 5.
I mean, this is a global company, though. But
I know.
Yeah, but the number is absurd. This is a weird tangent. I was looking at number of stuff. Konami released their lifetime sales of some of their franchises, and it was like Metal Gear has sold 50 million copies, 50 lifetime, all Metal Gear games. Silent Hill has only sold 10 million copies lifetime sales. That is less than Splatoon 3. It is just weird to me that there are more copies of Splatoon 3 that were sold than every Silent Hill game ever. So whenever I'm like, the new Silent Hill game's coming out, it's going to be huge. No, it's not. No, it's not. Like,
I mean, Silent Hill got movies though, and it has more movies coming. Splatoon don't got has no theatrical release.
It's got to be. That's got to be on the list, the short list, right? That makes sense.
I don't think anyone cares about those Ink Kids.
Japanese people.
Yeah, they had a whole K-pop concert about them.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think, you know what? I'm going to start caring about the Splatoon kids. I want to make sure the Inklings are all right. I like their fashion. They got nice fashion.
No, it's cool.
Rockstar after GTA 6, Rockstar is probably going to be the first $1 trillion games company.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I think it's just going to be obscene how much this game sells. Part of me is deeply depressed that they have become a one game a generation studio. But when that game is a thing like this, I don't know. How do you? It's hard to speak against it, right? Like, I do wish they would do smaller projects. I do wish they would allow incubation teams that would release a $40 game that was 15 hours long and not an open world. Like, you know, see what they would do with like a modern twist on the Warriors or LA Noire. Or, you know, they had that Horror of the Orient or Agent, those games that were canceled.
My dream project for them is Rockstar medieval game.
God.
I need it.
Give it up.
No. They could do amazing castle sieges. Oh, give me.
You love your medieval life.
I do love my medieval life.
You just
I don't think I'd love
shit in holes.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like living in it, but I think I like it.
Getting holes like a hole in the ground, not like shit.
No.
I think there is. I think there might be too many. Yeah.
It's going to be a space odyssey. That's what Rockstar's going to do next.
But, you know, if you can do fantasy, you need that. Okay, you got me on Space Odyssey there.
Give it a try. We don't have enough of those. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, right? Like we don't, like we as the press, we have been following Rockstar and their development for years and years and years. We're in the know. Do we think that the heads of all these companies, these competing publishers and developers and whatnot, do they understand like when we say, oh, Rockstar is kind of in their own league when they do this sort of stuff? Or does this sort of create an example that's going to make a lot of people fall into a pit hole as they try to copy it?
No, Rockstar is like a quintuple A studio.
But like, do executives, etc., understand that? That's my question.
Is there a hubris where they're like, we could be that? You know,
right,
in the same way where
somebody like talks down to their staff, like, look what they're doing over there, like, get on it. You know what I mean?
That's
like
every executive who saw the success of Fortnite was like, do that, make our version of that, you know, without understanding the kind of
but when you
1 in a million chance it happens.
Like, but has the lesson been, because like I know that has happened because people have been chasing GTA since GTA. But at this stage, we're on the 3rd mega hit GTA at this point. Have they got it through their skulls at this point that this is not replicable in the way they might want to.
Well, like some people in the chat have been talking about like the potential budget of this game being somewhere between like $1 and $2 billion. That's still chunk change to Rockstar.
But that can't be true.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Like, look at everything going on in this game. Like,
I think Jason Schreier is like throwing around the 2 billion number even.
Yeah,
Jesus
I would not be surprised if it's
Christ.
2 billion, and that's still pocket change to Rockstar.
Yeah. Listen, if fucking Captain America: Brave New World was $400 million, it's fine if this is 5 times more than that. That's fine.
Yeah, I think the industry knows that there is no competing with Rockstar at this level. I think they know that.
I mean, it's funny too because
you can't look at this trailer and not think you can and think there's any way you can compete with that.
When we talk about like the next Skyrim or the next Elder Scrolls or the next Witcher game, we always talk about, well, in the decade plus since then, look what's happened to fantasy RPGs. You know, with Skyrim, we're like, oh, look what Witcher did, look what Breath of the Wild did, look what Elden Ring did, look what Kingdom Come, like, you know, that kind of stuff. We don't have that with open world, quote unquote, realistic crime games. Like, no one has come close to them since GTA 5 in terms of critical commercial praise.
I think CD Projekt Red learned their lesson with Cyberpunk of even trying to be in the ballpark of comparing themselves to Grand Theft Auto. Yeah,
you have to do a different thing. And then we got this Mind's Eye game coming out in like a month, which is from Leslie Benzie's studio, who's one of the original Rockstar folks who worked, helped make Grand Theft Auto as big as it is. And while Mind's Eye is not an open world game, it is a relatively linear narrative game. You could tell by some of the footage they're showing is trying to evoke some of that Grand Theft Auto, but man, seeing that footage that came out and then seeing this, and you're just like, oh, this is sad. Like,
I mean, before this came out, I think that footage was actually kind of sad. I'll be honest.
Oh no, I agree.
that footage looks very basic to me.
It also feels like that footage was like purposefully leaked. It was, they like gave it to some big YouTuber who uploaded it and was like, I didn't know I couldn't upload this. And everyone's like, why upload it? It kind of sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Fat Cock with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Fat Cock. After the cluster truck that was Red Dead Redemption Online, I'm not optimistic about the new GTA Online. However, the main story still gives me hope in the game. I understand that. I do think it sucks that Rockstar cut their losses so early on Red Dead Online, but I think it was because they saw how it paled in comparison monetarily to Grand Theft Auto Online. So I do think this online here is going to be massive. This will be the biggest single player and biggest multiplayer game of the generation.
That, and there's only so much you can do with the Red Dead Online setting, because you don't have jets, you don't have tanks, all that.
I mean,
stuff. GTA Online.
They did feel like they didn't have ideas.
They didn't give it a chance. Yeah,
because I gave it a good shot with some friends when it first dropped, and it was kind of just boring. Like, we had like a little bit of fun, but after a while it was just boring, and like they kept releasing like sort of packs of new things to do, but those new things just weren't all that different from the old things. So yeah, it definitely got boring. Whereas the stuff that they would add with GTA Online was always fresh and exciting, and they definitely just gave it more energy, if anything.
Yeah. And then Wassup with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Wassup. New Second Wind series where Nick visits and reviews every Medieval Times. Have you ever been to a Medieval Times, Nick?
No, what is that?
Oh, it's like a chain amusement restaurant where you go in and they stage like a whole medieval
a knight's tournament.
Yeah, like a knight's tournament.
Jousting. They do
big old turkey legs. They don't give you utensils. They got after COVID. They have to give you utensils.
I lived in chat's like crazy, thinking that I'm crazy. I've never been to one of those. I lived in Nebraska and Missouri. We don't have culture here.
That's not culture. Like that,
There's a
Nebraska and
Renaissance fair in
Missouri.
Kansas City.
Nebraska and Missouri, like Kansas City, feels like the place that should have a medieval.
Yeah, like I
Maybe we
would
do.
not be surprised if it was born in.
Yeah.
What is it called?
This is not a
Medieval
culture thing. This is like
Times, Kansas City.
yeah.
Oh,
There's one in
there's
Vegas. I went to one in. There's one like outside of Chicago. That's the one I went to as a kid for a field trip.
Yeah, field trip. We got taken to one. It was a really fun time. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, I loved it as a kid.
Medieval
Except on the
times.
way back, we found out Phil Hartman died. The bus driver told us all Phil Hartman died, and like
That
half
was
of the people
not
were
his
like,
place.
and the half of us were like, "We're children. Who is that?"
Yeah, the closest one to me is Chicago.
So there you go, field trip. Second one field trip.
I'll be in Poland next week. I get to go see real castles.
probably got one there.
That is true. They probably but got some real ass medieval times. You can shit in a hole in Poland.
Prague had castles everywhere. You could buy a castle if you wanted to. I thought about it.
That's stolen valor. You need to earn your castle.
like all the aristocrats of the old.
They all earned their castles. Ergot poisoning over in the Patreon. Thank you so much. Ergot said, I think GTA needs to move beyond pure satire and start having a point of view that it actually articulates. Satire is subversive, but it doesn't really advocate for anything. Same way that a show like Veep or The Thick of It wouldn't land the same today. It kind of feels like fiddling while Rome burns. Yeah, this is gonna be like an interesting test case. Like this feels
I
like
super disagree with that. Like GTA,
Yeah,
I played the
sure.
GTA 5 campaign only last year. Finally, I played all the way through, and like there's a mission where you're like with a tech executive, and it still rings true today. Like I think these games have a lot to say about like how culture kind of perverts everything.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's like hard. Like I kind of mentioned at the beginning, it's hard to satirize America anymore. Like every day feels like it's.
I trust
a
Rockstar to do it
satirization.
still.
Yeah.
So-
That's the thing is, I give them the benefit of the doubt.
Like I also kind of take issue. Like I'm not sure that's correct to say that satire in general doesn't have a certain point. Like I think that is the point of satire, is
Sure.
to elevate the absurdity of whatever it is it's talking about. And so you do kind of just come back around again. Like if you're satirizing something that is as insane as the story you're telling, then you're just telling a story at that point. And a story just has a point of view. The point of view is, this is ridiculous. Look at how ridiculous this is. So they might be losing the edge in terms of satire and being ahead of the curve. But like, at this point, they're just showing you the mirror.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a real. I think even from the trailers, you can tell how much of a mirror it's going to be. That's either going to be it's either going to be real funny, or it's going to be real like, oh god, this isn't far off.
I'm excited.
But that's
to read
real life. Real life is that already.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm excited to read the
It's
GTA.
like I'm laughing, but like we're
GTA went woke.
It's already happening. It's already
Kill every cop in the game. They went woke.
That was like the big one that everybody was making fun of was like, I won't play. This game is against cops. I won't play the cop killer games. Like, what? Like, where have you been since GTA 1?
We live in a society. Any other GTA thoughts before we move on to stuff we've been playing? Plus, we have one random comment that I liked that I want to kind of jump into.
What do you like? What do you think is going to blow you away the most in terms of detail in this game? Because the one thing that GTA hasn't ever really been super detailed with is their interiors. I'm like, that's the one thing I'm super curious about. Like, how many buildings are going to be enterable in this game?
I feel like 5
They got more
had a lot more than they ever had, but
Red Dead had even more than that. So like I'm almost afraid of how much detail is going to be inside the actual buildings in this one. Like, are you gonna be able to just go into a hotel and every floor is gonna be detailed? Because if it is, like, Jesus Christ.
would that be good though?
Yeah,
because that starts going into the territory of like 7 trillion planets. Like,
I don't
need
know.
all those planets.
I don't know.
They show a little bit in the trailer. I'm excited to do some snorkeling.
They had
We don't
underwater
have a lot
stuff
of
in the last one.
Yeah, but I want it to look good. I don't want it to look like some bunk ass underwater game. Like let me snorkel with the fishies, see some turtles and whatnot.
Let's just go to space. Why not? Like the
Sure.
mission where we
Let's
do
go to
high
space.
orbital bullshit, and then we're on a space station. Let's do it.
There's gonna be a mission where rich people get to go to fake space, like fucking SpaceX space. You know that that bullshit
God.
Bezos nonsense. Fucking Katy Perry comes
Absolutely.
down saying that we
Please
saved
have a
humanity.
mission where you get stuck in space.
Yeah, all those 6 rich folks just start eating each other. They've only been up there 72 hours, start gnawing on each other's.
God, there's gonna
shoulders.
absolutely be a mission like that in the game. If there's not, it'll be DLC.
That's the thing. They don't have to write anymore. Like I was worried that no, they don't have to write anymore. They just trawl the headlines.
Katy Perry ate everybody.
Yeah, it's easy. Blistered Soul with a 2-pound dono. Thank you so much, Blistered Soul. Do you think 6 has a rare thematic use of sex in gaming? I mean,
There
I
was
guess
a lot
we
of
don't
sex
know.
in the trailer.
Yeah, but like I don't think it's. I mean, rare. I guess rare. Yeah. I'll be interested to see how they handle it. Sex is like one thing they've never handle. Like I'll be interested to see how they handle it in this game because in other games, sex seems to almost be transactional. In earlier games, whereas this seems like it is 2 people in love. Which I think is cool, which you see that in movies and TV all the time. So I'll be interested in that.
Part of the plot, right? Because those 2 characters are together. Do you think that they'll implement that, like their relationship as a aspect of gameplay?
Oh, like your characters get in a fight?
Yeah, like like just
that'd be interesting. Like in the same way
that might actually be genuinely interesting, and I hadn't thought about that honestly.
Yeah, in the same way how in like San Andreas you had to like eat, if you ate burgers you got fat, but then if you like rode on your bike you lost weight. Like gamified relationships the Rockstar way.
Yeah, like you do more successful crimes with your significant other, then
But is it weird to have
in the
a
house.
dating sim where you control both characters?
And then Sims does that.
That's just more role playing, right? Like you can make the relationship either as toxic or untoxic as you want, just to see how the story plays out, right?
I guess you control in like a Mass Effect or like a Persona. You have your main character, but you're still like, if you choose your waifu as one of your party members, that's still ostensibly a character you.
Yeah, but that's divorced from the gameplay, right? Like you have the conversations and whatnot, but then when you go and shoot stuff, that has nothing to do with like the choices you made, and
or
at the very least, like whether they are there or not by a certain endpoint in the story. Like I don't know, we're completely speculating here, but this could make that dynamic far more interesting gameplay wise. I feel like, rather than just you're playing 2 characters and going through their story, like it turns the story into something that you're also having some sort of influence over, like whether they're working well together at whatever it is they're trying to do, where they have different goals. And if that changes how to get, because GTA 5 has slightly different endings, not like a million of them, but like you could build certain relationships and make certain choices that would end the game differently based on which characters you kind of liked more or didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Yeah, that's something I wasn't thinking about too much, but I think that could be something really neat. And then Beast March with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Beast March. I wonder if Trump's victory forced the writers to change a script, adding to the delay. I would imagine the script was locked then, but yeah, I feel like I think probably a lot of art feels a little different, would feel different now than if we had a different president. But it's just, I think that might be every election.
Sure, it's gonna feel very different by May of next year.
What's going on in May? Oh, Secret Wars?
May of next year?
I thought we're not talking about Secret Wars?
That's coming in May?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is this coming out the same weekend as Secret Wars? Jesus Christ.
I think it's the weekend
Is
after.
Secret Wars different than, what was the Sam Jackson led series?
Secret Invasion. That's
Secret Invasion.
The first one was an invasion. This one's a war.
Gotcha.
I don't know, Secret War 2027. That can't be right. No, I'm
Doomsday
thinking of
is next year.
Doomsday. When's Doomsday
God.
coming out?
That's like, I think
Doomsday
it's May
happened
11th.
already.
May 1st, 2026.
May 1st.
Doomsday.
I had the
We've been living-
one right.
We've been fucking living Doomsday, dog. Great. The random Patreon question I wanted to ask was from Dread Pirate Mittens. They said, thank you so much to Dread Pirate Mittens, said, there's something that I've been thinking about lately. I'm very much a wait for a sale kind of gamer. How does this affect the industry? For instance, I recently played through the Shadow of War games that I bought for like $10 during a sale. If I had bought them at launch and bought all the orc boxes or whatever they were, would that have made much of a difference to Monolith's fate? Expedition 33 is currently on my wish list. Should I buy it now at full price to support the devs? Does it even matter in the current industry? Sorry for the long post. First off, I don't think the onus is on anyone to make or break a video game. I think you buy a video game when you feel comfortable that this amount of money I can give to this thing without it impacting the real issues and problems and things I need to do with my life. Mm-hmm. So no, I do not think you should feel bad whatsoever for picking up a game 10 years down the road for $10, even if that studio no longer exists. The reason that studio doesn't exist anymore is because of shitty CEOs and shitty billionaires. Doesn't have anything to do with who did or did not buy the Shadow of War games. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're someone who's just fine with playing a game late, like if you're just fine without, not being a part of the conversation when a game comes out, then wait. Like there's that whole patient gamers subreddit that is great of people being like, oh my God, I finally got into X, Y, and Z 10 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, pretty much what Marty said, buy the game when you want to buy it. Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's how consumerism works in the grand scheme, but like as an individual, there's no way to know, right? Unless you somehow hold the buying power for several million people, like your decision to wait for a sale versus buy it out the door is not the onus, or like it's not the factor that's going to lead to demise or whatnot. But I'm just curious for folks who they can't answer because it was a Patreon question, I guess. But I'm just curious when people, because I play like this often. Like, because I want to play a lot of games, so I need to wait so that they're much cheaper, so I can get a lot of them at a time. But I'm just curious, like, do most people have that sort of feeling like, oh, because I like the studio so much, or I like this franchise so much, I need to get it immediately because that helps the devs more, versus, well, I'll wait till sale because that helps me more. Like, I don't have an answer. I'm just curious if that's a thing folks feel.
I'd bet the vast majority of people don't think about how it actually impacts the devs, except for people that are online and part of the industry. Really, because I'm saying that, like, even who follow the industry didn't think in that way. Honestly, like, it was always based on if I'm very excited, if I have the funds to do it now versus I'll just wait till later. So I don't know. Yeah, I think I think there's other ways, like if that's something you're worried about, I think there's other ways to support devs, like buy the game when you want, and then if you like it, go post a review or talk about it on social media if you're online, right? Like that's the next best thing for them. It's just you talking about the game.
Yeah, sure. Or recommending it to a friend, like getting another person to play a game, and then they really dig it, and then they do the same thing. There's a lot of easy free things that you could do. Wishlisting games helps, especially in the indie space, helps small games kind of get the visibility that they need. But yeah, my main thing would just be never feel bad for, I don't know, it's not on any single one of us for a studio to be make or break.
My thing, like, these days, since we're obviously in a different position because we're in games media, but if I absolutely love a game, like, I will go buy a physical copy of it to support them directly.
Yeah.
If it's on their website or whatever like that, so I can have it in my collection and just a memento of it.
Sure. I am weird though, to where if I miss a AAA game in its opening window, it's very rare that I go back to it. Indies, like, I'll go back to a lot more.
To buy it.
To play it. There's games like, what if I get to the next calendar year, any AAA game from the previous year I had in my backlog, there's a good chance I'm not getting to it. Indie games, yeah. If something's like 5 hours, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. But like, I'm trying to even think of I have like examples of games from like, I still like want to go back and finish Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
and like that's even just back in the zeitgeist because that came out on PS5, and like I want to go back and finish it, but it's like Man, shit. South of Midnight came out, and then Expedition 33 came out, and now Doom's coming out, and then the Switch is coming out, and then fucking Death Stranding's coming out. So, and that's like a me problem. That's like a specifically us, like our industry problem.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Not enough hours in a day.
Not enough hours in a day. Not enough days. I think 24 is fine. We need like an 8th and or 9th day.
I mean, fucking four games came out alone today that I want to check out. Yes, Your Grace, Snowfall, The Midnight Walk, Imperial, and Hordes of Hunger. All came out in the last 24 hours. And that's from my Unpacked video last week, where I talked about 12 games came out last week that I was like, these all look pretty good.
Yeah.
It's insane. There's no way to keep up.
How many were set in medieval times?
One of them. Two of them. One's in future medieval times.
That can't be. I think that's that ain't a thing.
It's got swords in the future. I call that future medieval.
So does Star Wars. What?
Not laser swords, real swords.
My mistake. Yeah, I'm really excited for Midnight Walk. That got hella good reviews. I forgot that was coming out. Looks good. Then Inverse Skies with $8 Thank you so much, Inverse Skies. I'm still playing games from the 90s and that I've never played before. I'm playing Panzer Dragoon Saga at the same time as Clair Obscur. It works for me. I do that same thing too. I can't, if a game's from last year, it's too old. If a game's from the 90s, it's perfect.
This is just old enough.
I don't know what there's a cutoff year that goes from too old to ooh, that's a nice sweet spot. It might be like 2009. If a game is from before 2009, it's fine. If it's from after 2009, it's too old.
Huh.
Yeah. Think about that. I'll take my answer off air. What have you guys been playing, watching? Casey, what have you been playing and watching?
I'll be honest, not much more than Obscure.
Yeah.
I'm still getting through Pantheon. I'm on the very last episode of season 2. So nice. I'll probably have like complete thoughts after I watch that, but I'll probably just watch it at the end of the day. It's a fantastic effing show. Like, and I've talked about it already, so I won't go deep into it. But like, think just well thought out sci-fi storytelling, like, and sci-fi not like super future, but like relatively soon future, near future. Like, this is a thing that if the technology happened in our lifetime, I could see many of the progressions that happened in the show happening in the real world. Like, it's just written in a way that just makes a lot of sense, and it's just super interesting to just see how insane humans are.
Yeah,
how bad capitalism is. That sort of thing. Like,
is this the end of Pantheon, or do you know, has it been renewed for a new season?
I don't know actually. Yeah, I didn't look at anything regarding its production, but story-wise, it definitely seems like the next episode should be the end of things.
Okay. Like, it could, if this was the series finale, it could feel like a wrap-up.
Yeah, like the characters who start the series off are like at very different points by the stage it's in now. So like, I can't imagine like after whatever gets resolved there, it's like, all right, well, here's another full season of
sure.
Yeah, so I don't know yet, but because I haven't looked up anything, but I don't know, and I'm happy to see it like end. Like, it's been a great ride. So if they stick the landing, which it seems like they're on their way to do, I'll be very pleased.
Hell yeah, love to hear that. Nick?
Oh, folks in chat are saying, yeah, Pantheon is done, it's complete.
Oh, awesome, that's great. And it's good to hear. Yeah, it seems like everyone. That's one of those shows where everyone I know who has watched it has loved it. Which means so. How many episodes total would it be?
20, I think.
That's like
2 seasons of 10.
That's like half a Gundam. I can handle that.
Half a Gundam. Yeah,
I need to get pneumonia again. Yeah, that was the only thing. My only thing. I did not play any games of the week. Can you guys play games when you're sick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's like a bad headache.
No, I didn't have a headache. I was just hacking and fucking sniffling. I can't play games if I'm sniffling. And the problem is I'm sniffling all the time. And so I was sick all weekend. That's why I always sound sick, but I sound particularly sick now. Yeah, even though I wanted to keep jamming through Clair Obscur, Do we call it Clair Obscur? Or do we call it Expedition 33?
I just called Expedition 33.
I think I bounced around, but I kind of like Clair Obscur because I feel like if they make a sequel, it's gonna be Clair Obscur and then a different title.
Sure. My worry about Expedition 33 is every time I say it, I get a tingle that I'm going to say it wrong, and I'm going to say Exposition 33 or like there's too many words that are sounding like Exhibit 33.
It's a longer
Exhibition.
title. Yeah. If you do just that one.
Yeah, it's like a hat on a hat. So I spent all weekend, I wrote a column on it. If you're at the $5 tier and above, you can read it from earlier this week, watching Gundam. I watched the entirety of what is that? Is that Gundam in Grand Theft Auto? You got hit by an ambulance.
Just a mod.
I restarted from the beginning. I watched all of 1979 Mobile Suit Gundam, and I then watched the 6-hour-long episodes called Gundam: The Origin. That was an OVA made in 2016. That was the origin story of Char, the main antagonist of Gundam. I then rewatched after Mobile Suit Gundam came out in 79. They took the entire story and truncated it into 3 separate movies, and I then rewatched that because I had rewatched The Origin, and so it shined a new light on characters that I didn't really know who they were. And so I watched those 3 movies. I then watched the first 4 episodes of the new series Gundam G-Quacks, which
have you heard that spoken yet?
Yeah, I believe it is G-Quacks. Guy Bamboo over in the Patreon said, hate to break off topic, but Marty, I loved your article on watching Gundam 79. You said you started the G-Quacks series. Love to hear some more thoughts on it. That is incredible because that is the new series that is currently airing week to week. And that starts at the very first episode of Gundam 79, but instead of Amuro getting the Gundam, Char gets the Gundam. So the bad guy gets the nuke instead of the good guy getting the nuke. And so it's like how history has splintered off from there. But this is a series that's like I think the creator of Fooly Cooly is leading it, but also Hideaki Anno of Evangelion is writing on it. And that's
a bonkers combination.
Yeah. And so like visually it looks like a Fooly Cooly Gundam show, but I have a feeling that these kids are going to end up getting real fucked up by the end of it. If I know my boy Anno, he does when he puts kids in mech, things do not go well. And then I started watching Zeta Gundam, which is the 1985 sequel series to Mobile Suit Gundam, which is great. So that's it.
So there's still a lot of Gundam that you haven't gotten to yet.
He said he has 2,000 episodes to watch.
2,000?
2,000 episodes.
2,000.
No, it's not
2,000.
No. I watched 2,000 minutes of Gundam this weekend. I believe there's like 550 episodes of Gundam I'm going to need to watch. And I think I have roughly 60 down.
Sorry,
I think I can do it by
2 million minutes.
Chunk.
I think I do it by the end of the year. Someone tell me why I can't finish all these games. I don't understand.
Where's the trajectory going after this?
What, with Gundam?
Yeah, what are you planning to get to next?
I want to get through Zeta Gundam and then ZZ, which are and then Char's counterattack. Like I'll just fucking finish Char's story.
Okay,
be like, let's see what
old
this
school story stuff.
Yeah, okay. And then and from then I can then be like, oh, do I want the one-off things that are a part of the Universal Century, or do I want to start doing some of the other things that are their own continuity? Like, do I want to rewatch Gundam Wing for the first time since I was a kid?
Gundam Wing feels like that's the start of like the new school Gundam.
Yeah, but then there's like one-off series like that you've recommended and other people have recommended of being like, oh, this is like Gundam but X or Gundam but Y. You didn't you recommend like Gundam but Wrestling? Like
G Gundam, it's such a stupid ass show.
Exactly.
But it's great. It's so great.
Yeah.
Did you say you've already rewatched something because of something else?
It's technically not a rewatch, but I did watch the 43 episode series. And then I watched the prequel, and then I watched the 3 movies that just took that 43 episode series and truncated it into 3 movies. It had some new animation.
So you're rewatching. Yeah, your rewatching has become such a problem that you're rewatching while you're
rewatching mid-watch.
I just want to know: are the 3 movies watchable without the context of the first series? Like, can you just watch the 3 movies and I'm done?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. I'm glad I did watch the whole thing because there's like a bunch of, they cut out like the filler, but some of the filler I really liked. And they cut out certain characters that I really liked. But yeah, for just the overall story of Gundam 79, you could just watch those 3 movies and get the gist of it. Just fine. So, yeah, that was a lot. I think I went into a little coma there.
I like it.
me into a coma.
You're gonna get me back into Gundam.
Oh, hell yeah.
No.
Dodger with a $5 dono said, I hope it never happens to, but Marty would need to have some world-ending pneumonia to polish off all of Gundam in one sitting. Challenge accepted. Nick.
When you start missing meetings, we'll know this is a problem.
Not missing them. I'm in the cockpit. Nick, what have you been watching in order?
Before we get to that, KC, did you see the release date for a certain show that's coming back in July?
No, don't tease me.
No, it's not Warrior. It's not Warrior.
It's not Warrior. Fuck.
If it was Warrior, I would be the one that's super excited. It's Foundation Season 3.
Oh, yes. Excellent.
July 11th.
Woo!
And
Great.
Pace has a full beard now. He's getting
so
serious
handsome.
about shit.
He's so handsome.
He is. He might be the most handsome man
Really
alive.
handsome. He's incredibly handsome.
He scares me how handsome he is. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm straight, but he could turn me.
He's real pretty. But what have you been watching in
aside from staring at handsome men, I've been playing Star Invaders. We had our sponsor stream for that the last week, but I have been excited for that game way before that sponsor. So on my flight and time yesterday, I basically just put tons of hours into that. I finally beat that second difficulty, so I got the I guess the very Gundam-like character, which is very focused on melee combat, which completely changes how you play the game. Like when you get so basically, to re-explain for people that weren't at the stream, because it's probably most of you, you start the game with one set of characters that are focused on, they're called gunners. So most of your cards that you get in Star Invader are focused on like rockets and guns and bombs and stuff like that. When you beat the second difficulty, you unlock your next set of characters, which I forget what the names are called. Maybe Striders. But
Stinger?
basically, what?
Is it Stinger?
Stinger, maybe.
Yeah, I think I just showed it on screen.
Oh, well, it might be that. Essentially, it like completely changes the card sets that you get into all melee focused, with a basically a Gundam that moves around the map a lot more instead of staying back and kind of holding your position and trying to chain explosions and stuff like that. So it almost feels like a completely different game, which I really, really like in roguelikes like this and Monster Train, where you get different characters that completely change your play style going through the game. So having a lot of fun with this, and then obviously I was traveling, so I didn't have time to continue playing Expedition 33, but I'm going to get back to that. The other game, can't talk about that. Embargo drops tomorrow on it though, so be able to talk about it. Well, I won't be here next week, so I get to talk about it in 2 weeks.
No, we'll already moved on to the next thing.
Yeah, we will have already moved on to the next.
We're not
thing.
allowed to talk about old games. Only anime from the fucking Reagan administration.
Old to Marty is not a year, or not a year. It's a week ago.
That could have been a sticky wicket. Age doesn't matter to Marty.
Nope. All right, you're too much Yahtzee in you now.
I was the one.
The thought came to you. And then Andor season 2. Man, those last 3 episodes, holy shit.
Every 3 episodes, it's just,
you say what you will about Revenge of the Sith, but like at certain moments, like there are, even watching that today, like just is Star Wars, like the emotion of Star Wars all comes through at once and like lives rent free in my head, like certain scenes in that movie and certain moments. Andor, like these last 3 episodes of Andor, like made me feel like that again for Star Wars, which I haven't felt in a long time.
Yeah,
didn't mean the Star Wars pun there, but it just happened.
It is shocking how much more I enjoy Andor than pretty much any other franchise thing. It is crazy. Yeah, it's not even, just in the other level it is in terms of writing, in terms of the actual like visual language of the show, the performances, the music, this season especially, I mean, both seasons honestly have used like recurring motifs in music and chanting and repetition in incredible ways. Like if you saw the first season, stuff like the prison escape or the March on Varix at the end of the season. There's similar things in this season that echo that are just absolutely unforgettable scenes. So yeah, really
I've enjoyed this season
stuff
of Andor so much more because just I don't know. I really love the first season of Andor. It's just this season's like on a completely different level for me. I've enjoyed every minute of watching it, and like, oh yeah, keep reiterating. I just hope like Disney is learning from these things, because even in their earnings call or whatever today for Thunderbolts, New Avengers, whatever it's called, basically he was talking about like this is us focusing on quality over quantity now, which is kind of funny. He didn't mention Captain America in there because I thought that was the start of that, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to continue with that quality several times in a row for me to believe it's a new norm and not just a couple of flukes.
Yeah, but
that might have been a holdover.
It could have been, but yeah, they have to be looking at the online reception to this and how fucking positive it is, and like getting something from that of like, okay, we get you, we need to do more of this. I'm really curious, like if they'll ever release the viewership numbers on it and how well it's actually doing, because Andor season 1 wasn't that highly viewed compared to the rest of the Star Wars stuff, was it? If I recall correctly.
No, I mean the problem is like nothing Star Wars is that highly viewed anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
This is so much better. Yeah, this is one of those. I keep saying it, but like even if you are so incredibly sick of Star Wars, I understand. This thing is just like good, full stop.
And it's good in spite of Star Wars, or it's good Star Wars.
It's good Star Wars. Both. Yeah. It is good non-Star Wars. But it is also becoming very good Star Wars.
Because the Clone Wars series retroactively made a lot of less interesting Star Wars stuff for me more interesting. Like, does this have that sort of effect?
Yeah, I think somebody on social media like shared their new favorite trilogy, and it was basically Andor, Rogue One, and then A New Hope. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck yeah! I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like I'll always love Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith, but like this, like these three put together make like the perfect Star Wars trilogy to me.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah, because people weren't big fans of Rogue One. I remember, right? Like I liked Rogue One.
I think people have softened on it quite a bit over time, especially once we've been getting Solos and Last Jedis.
Yes, people hated Solo too. Like I thought Solo was also okay, but I thought Rogue One was pretty good.
Yeah,
Rogue One's like my favorite Star Wars movie ever. I think
it's good.
Rogue One is your favorite Star Wars movie ever?
I think so. It's the one I keep going back to rewatch all the time.
Rogue One's good. It's like it's kind of messy. Like you can see the kernel of what they wanted to do in Rogue One that they're able to do in Andor because they have so much more time and space and. Papa Disney doesn't seem to be breathing down their necks.
Yeah.
Tony,
you think they're gonna give like Tony Gilroy whatever he wants to do next? You think he's gonna come back to do more Star Wars?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, his interviews have been like, I never wanted to do Star Wars, and then I wanted, and then they had me do this, and But this is it.
I imagine he has a blank check to do whatever he wants now. So, like Michael Clayton too.
I don't want him to not do what he wants, but please stay with Star Wars.
You're gonna get Ryan Coogler to come do a Star Wars.
Oh no!
I thought you were gonna say they were gonna get fucking Ryan Reynolds probably to do a Star Wars. Ryan Coogler is better than Star Wars. After Sinners,
that's what I'm saying. Like, but they're gonna be like, we want this, but Star Wars.
Yeah. That's funny.
What do you think? Do you think Marvel is ever going to get something as good as this?
I don't know. I would have said Star Wars is never going to get something as good as this, but then we got this. So
yeah, that's fair. I guess you never know.
I can't imagine.
Like the early Netflix series felt like they were hitting that sort of. All right, this is a different thing. This is a more serious, higher brow, gritty thing, and then it did kind of eventually run off the rails.
The thing is, like, even for like I some of that early Netflix stuff, like the Daredevil stuff,
like Jessica Jones,
stuff,
I want to say
Jessica Jones season 1, and then even like lately, like I love the 2 Loki seasons. I think the 2 Loki seasons.
Oh yeah, those are fun shows. Yeah,
great. Like this just feels like a different thing. Just like it just feels like it's a whole different medium almost compared to those other ones. I know that sounds like hyperbole, and it probably is, but whatever.
No, I mean for franchise stuff. Yeah, this stands above the rest of it, and it's not even close.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like just writing wise, that's not even close. Like,
yeah.
I mean, this thing is art. Like this show is art in every sense of the word, which most franchise stuff isn't these days. But at the same point, like, and I know, like I diverge from a lot of people even on this cast, but like I really enjoyed Ahsoka as a huge fan of Rebels. I know like there's mixed opinions on it. I like the Mandalorian thing. I really don't care for the Mandalorian that much, and I hated Boba Fett. But like Ahsoka hits all the right notes for me, and on a rewatch, I really actually ended up enjoying the Acolyte a lot more than I did on watching it week to week.
I think I'm going to do that first. Like I'm going to jump to Acolyte and then do Andor for no particular reason. Just I feel like I need to know what Star Wars is doing now and then see what Andor is doing with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like I think that's where my brain is.
I'm the last batch of episodes, the last 3, the credited writer on them is, as in the episodes that are coming out next week, is Tom Bissell, who he's started as a highbrow games journalist, transitioned into games writing. He was the lead writer on Gears 4 and Gears 5. And I'm just very excited to see, like, this is the kind of story he's always wanted to tell. And so I'm very, very excited to see his batch of episodes. Obviously, there's like a writer's room for the entire group, but it's kind of one person was in charge of each pod of episodes, and his episodes are next week. So maybe it'll be Razor Hail. What if there's Razor Hail? Imagine that.
Razor Hail was one of the coolest things from Gears.
That was the sickest shit ever. Yeah.
I had to remind myself that there were actually 3 more episodes because last night felt like such a good endpoint for it.
Yeah.
Or 2 nights ago. I don't know when it was.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And before we wrap up, Bookworm, thank you so much for $5 Appreciate you, Bookworm. A live stream finally lined up with the start of my drive home this morning. A small thanks for keeping me entertained on my long drives to work. Thank you so much, Bookworm. It's always nice to hear
for you. And that'll be at this time every week going forward.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, I didn't mention it at the top, but because we used to do the show at this time, but on Wednesdays. And then we moved it to Thursdays, and it kind of just bumped up to when Casey and I used to stream on Thursdays. But going forward, it will be at this time slot. So 6 p.m. Centrals on Thursdays going forward. Obviously, the show will still, as you can see here, still be the same length. Nothing changing with the show, just an hour earlier. And I got a little sunlight out the window. Look at that. I'm not ending the show in complete darkness. That's nice. But I mean, you're in darkness because you're just in a little cave.
The people I never played pickleball on Thursday, guys. I played on Mondays and Sundays.
Well, that was also just not true, though, right? So no one knows when you actually played pickleball.
It's Sunday and Mondays for that. It was beer pong on Wednesdays.
Okay, but you can't get upset at people for saying that, because literally when we moved, you said it was to play pickleball, and Casey and I were like, "Oh, that's cool. It's like an activity. You get exercise. You get to meet people." And then you're like, "It was actually for beer pong," and we're like, "Slightly different, but that's fine. Also, you get to meet people. There's wrist exercise, I guess."
Yeah, I gotta exercise my thumbs during the day. Wrists. I'm not gonna keep going with that. I know where that was going.
Casey, what do you have going on? What should folks check out in your neck of the woods?
Yep. I think I said yesterday, but tomorrow there won't be a wedding stream. I just got some work to catch up on. So I've not been able to get certain things done while getting other things done. So it's gonna be a catch up day for me. But Super Smash Sunday should be back on Sunday. both on the Second Wind channel starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on my channel starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 5 hours in total. Come hang out, great time. You get to smash, learn a little something about yourself as well. We give therapy during you give therapy during the stream.
By getting work done, do you mean that you're finding some of those beaches in Expedition 33 and you got to climb to the top of those little towers to unlock everyone's swimsuits?
I have no idea what you're talking about. This is a thing? I did what?
Have you not found any of the beaches?
Beaches? No, there's beaches all over the place in that game, but what?
Oh, like little areas, like the Gestrel beach. Gestrels? What are they called? Gestrels or Gestrels?
Gestrels. They say Gestrel.
I actually don't know which one. Whatever one they say.
I don't know.
You get to their beach. They're like little side areas, and you got to do these increasingly difficult platform. You would fucking hate this. It's platforming in the game, and the game is not built for
the game is not made.
But it's like literally like those like fucking Twitch stream anger platforms by the end, where it's like you can get like a mile into the air and fuck up once, and you got to climb all the way back up. It's like chained together, and you get bikinis at the end for your babes.
You know what? I'm gonna say that's not worth my time.
I assume that's what you're gonna be doing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome, Nick. What do you got going on?
I will have a new episode of Unpacked out tomorrow, talking about the crash of the traditional games media industry, so close to home on that one. And then I will be going all next week to Poland for a preview event that I can't talk about, but I will have a new episode of Unpacked out next Friday because I'm working on it now. Because I never stop working, ever.
You should probably stop working at some points. You can eat any pierogies? You got any pierogies? Pierogi plans?
Whatever they serve me there.
What if they serve you nothing? Are you going to starve to death?
That too. As long as it's not... See, the last time I was in Europe would have been... Well, I guess Iceland's not... Well, close enough.
Yeah, wasn't that doc like 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. And the last time I was there, they made me try a lot of different food that I did not like. Blood pudding... beef tartare, a lot of bloody things. I didn't like that.
You would never have survived in medieval times.
Tried whale.
You would have never survived. There you go.
Yeah,
blood sausage. Excellent. Then, tomorrow, tune in back at noon Central, normal time, Dev Heads. The crew's going to be joined by Alex Hutchinson, who was the creative director at Ubisoft back in the day on Assassin's Creed 3 and Far Cry 4. Most recently, he's gone indie, and he's doing Return to the Savage Planet. Is that what the new game is called?
Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Very fun game. We've got to play it at a GDC. It reminds me so much of Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, that's awesome. I love Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
So hell yeah, tune in for that tomorrow. Then I'll be streaming tomorrow night, watch some more anime. So after work, so tune in for that. And you know what? To any moms out there, happy early Mother's Day. If you got a mom, wish her happy Mother's Day this weekend.
Mother's Day is absolutely coming up.
Mother's Day is absolutely this weekend. If you don't got your mom or you don't like your mom, you probably got another mom in your life you like. So tell them how much that you appreciate them.
And then tell her mom you don't like that you did that. It'll really piss her off.
Oh my God, that's a good way to get back at them. Because that's a positive and a negative, so it ends up being a neutral. So there you go. I am shocked at how many people, including Jess, just said, "Oh shit, it's Mother's Day this weekend."
Yeah, this really snuck up on us.
Same time every year.
Why am I in a ball pit?
Why are you in a ball pit? That's great. That's I don't know. Worst places to be, right? Because you like balls, Nick, said Eric. Jesus Christ, Eric. Why did I read that out loud? So
thanks to audio listeners.
for Eric, Casey, and Nick, this was Marty. This was Firelink episode number 66. Thank you all so much for tuning in, watching live, listening in your podcast service of choice. We appreciate every single one of you. Have a wonderful rest of your evenings, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.